Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Barlow Zone, home of the one and only demon hunter, King Kaido, himself sent to Azeroth. How's everybody doing today? I hope y'all having a blessed day. 1162 scanlations just dropped. You know your boy Barlow had to get on top of reading that. And I'll be honest, there did look like there were a couple translation issues. Just some phrases that were really awkward on the tongue, right? You read something, you're like, wait, hold on, let me reread that. You try to say it out loud, and you're like, no, that doesn't even make any sense. One of those does kind of come up in this, but what I decided to do with that situation is just kind of whited out what was said, and I'm only going to talk about the implications behind the actual art that was put forward on the panel when we get there, right? But man, now just to forewarn, I guess I am going to save the big part towards the end. I'll put a timestamp up here now. If all you want is to understand the reason behind the thumbnail and the title for this video that I have chosen, feel free to jump forward to the timestamp. I really got to talk about that, but because that's not the only thing I really want to talk about from the chapter, I'm going to go ahead and take some time. We're going to talk about some of the things I really enjoyed, the little details, interactions, I guess context and contextualization behind relationships that were kind of developed and expanded on before I get to this big issue for me, right? So first, I noticed this. Some real small, some that doesn't really mean anything, definitely has me excited to watch Matt's video. Teching 101, he loves that geography is everything thing. So, seeing this compass here, I can't help but feel like our boy's gonna have his brain juices flowing on that one, right? Love to see if he's got enough information, he's ready to go on a geography is everything for God Valley. But either way, I did see he has his review posted. So if you're looking for an actual full review of the chapter, feel free to duck out now. Go check his out. Seeing his video is actually what let me know that the scanlations were up. So hey, big shout out to you, Matt. I was expecting it tomorrow. You let me know that it was ready to go for me. So much appreciated, brother. Moving on, I found it so comforting, right? Like, again, a small detail, something just kind of in passing, but seeing Shaki smile, like, I don't know what it was, but I felt something in my soul. Like, I'm like, okay, you know what? I know we still got a lot of intense fighting to get through, but we already knew everything was going to be okay, right? But for me, seeing Shaki smile right there, like, hey, Ray-san, you don't need to say anything. I already know. Let's get out of here. Like, we don't even need to say it, Rayleigh. I already know. Like, I felt that one in my soul, and boy, do we need it on this one, because man, stuff gets dark really quick after that, right? We cut to pretty quickly. We got the little cut shot of Eva and Kuma standing in the storeroom, right? I think it was storeroom 1. Now you can kind of see here in the background this specific storeroom is on fire. Now I say specific because we do get references later in the chapter to storeroom 2, so kind of implying that there are multiple areas where the treasures and prizes are being stored for after the competition is over, basically, right? Like, you don't leave everything just out where somebody in the chaos of everything could just run up and snatch something they want and bounce beyond. Now, you know what? I'm done with the competition. I got what I came for, because I was just watching the Waking the Dragons arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! Over on Con TV not long ago, and kind of make that reference to Raphael after his duel with Yugi, right? Like, here, take his body. I already got everything I want from him. Like, it's cold, but man, it's impactful. And then, do want to point out, because I did kind of have a theory. This character, Saint Maffy Satchel, right? Like, because of the general aesthetic of the character, that mouth beam attack, I was kind of theorizing that she had the Uwa Uwa no Mi, right? It was pointed out to me I believe in the comments of that video. If it wasn't in the comments of that video, I posted on Tumblr and somebody pointed it out to me that we had already gotten confirmation that Big Mom got the Ua Ua no Mi Maruseryu from Eva and Kuma during this event. So I had forgotten about that detail. It kind of had already torn my theory apart, but we did get hard confirmation that no, it wasn't because I pitched the theory to try and amend mine and save it, right? Like, hey, you know, some fruits are like prize-worthy, like just highly sought after and rare, could be seen as a prize. You know, it's maybe there was a fruit like, dude, I was in some super tinfoil hat stuff, right? Trying to save my theory, but it was torn apart when I presented it. I got to be honest there, and hard confirmation in this chapter. I do want to point out, because this storeroom's on fire, right? We see a lot of chests and stuff here. I just want to say, I hope the storeroom that Dragon ends up running into and finding the chest that he put Shanks in, I sincerely hope that one is not on fire. Like, Dragon has been peak average dude, everyman hero through this flashback, right? Like, just doing what the everyman could do. He ain't got no superpowers. He ain't got no mastery of hockey. He just out here trying to do his best to counteract the evil that he's played a part in, right? So I really hope it doesn't come down to he just takes the easy route, like, oh, hey, there's a chest, throw the baby in here. This fire doesn't look too bad. Like, no. I really hope that the storeroom that Dragon ends up coming up on to leave Shanks in is free of fire. Speaking of Dragon, though, because we did get some really cool character contextualization for Ivankov and Kuma in this chapter, right? Notably, in this panel, you know, you got Eva shouting about how if we can save just one, then we can call this a victory, right? And that stands in contrast to Dragon's mentality right now about, if I can't even save this one baby, then I don't deserve to live. Now, they do seem kind of similar, right? Like, it all comes down to one and saving one. But I think it's curious to note that this is kind of framing it as Ivankov and Kuma see the prize and the what word did I use? I didn't even use a good one. Wow, bad adjectives today. Sorry about that, y'all. Try to make sure I'm doing better. See if I can come up with some on the fly as we go. But, you know, Eva and Kuma, they see the small victories, right? They're all, hey, you know what? We couldn't save everybody, but we saved who we could. Whereas Dragon sees the failure in the small victories. He's like, okay, yeah, we saved some, but what about the 150 lives that we couldn't save that are now dead because we weren't strong enough to do it? And those two mentalities, like, I mean, obviously, we already know that the RA is going to be formed, right? Like, Ivankov, Kuma, and Dragon. That's our core group. That's our big three of the Revolutionary Army formation. Nowadays, you know, you could argue that Sabo has completely eclipsed Dragon. I know, as I mentioned in my last video, the new homie over on Tumblr, Stat Blue, their channel's all about dedication to Sabo, right? Like, they defend Dragon, but, like, even they realize that Sabo is eclipsing his commander, right? And that's really cool, because even that fits in with what the idea of One Piece is, right? It's about passing the torch on to the next generation and allowing their will and conviction to shape the future. I mean, painting in broad strokes with that one, right? Moving right along, I wanted to point out this one. I had to zoom in. Now, I believe I had zoomed into the panel to look at something else, but then I noticed this, right, down in there, so I zoom in a little bit more. I'm all, whoop, whoop, whoop. Enhance, CSI style. I'm all, no way. It's straight up Marco kicking the absolute donkey piss out of Silver Axe, dude. Like, you know, I know we ain't got a lot of lore or context around Silver Axe, you know, other than he's supposed to be some, you know, bad mofo, right? Like, he's called the Hitman. You don't just call anybody the Hitman, right? Like, come on, Agent 47 had to work his butt off to get that title. We ain't just handing that out, right? But we ain't really seen anything outside of that. So I don't know why, but seeing Marco just absolutely put sandals to jawbone, dude, like, oh, that made me smile so big. I mean, I was smiling bigger than I am right now about that, if y'all could believe it. Like, seeing that was so beautiful. The next thing I wanted to talk about is there's been a lot of speculation surrounding Garp because of this flashback so far, right? Like, with how heroic Dragon's being painted, the fact that Garp is still playing part to what's going on, we've had reason to be skeptical of Dragon, right? And I pointed it out in, I believe it was 1161 and the 1160. On one of the last two chapters, the last time we got the color spread, right? It was the one with the color spread and the cover story. Had all the characters with the plushies. I remember talking about it because there was I spent a good amount of time talking about Usopp and Robin at that claw machine with Chopper in it, right? Like, is this a death flag about Chopper? But another thing I pointed out during that little bit about the color spread is the fact that Luffy was still holding on to a plushie of his grandpa, right? Like, a plushie of Garp was still present, so letting us know that Luffy still holds his grandpa dear to him, like that man's still close to his heart. And I pointed it out at the time. I'm like, okay, this seems like Oda understanding that, I'm kind of doing Garp dirty right now. Like, with everything that's going on, all the focus I'm putting on his son and Zebek and Teach and Shanks, I'm kind of painting Garp into a bad corner. Fans are starting to speculate. Got to make sure they know that he's still a good guy. We can still trust him. So let me add his plush in here, right? And then this week, we get the hard confirmation. Like, Garp, the OG, our man, can't give up faith, right? Like, Oda wants us to have faith in this man, and he came through. Like, our boy, as soon as he's running through on the hunt for Roger, right? He's seeing what's going on, and he rings up to Sengoku like, bro, did you know what was going on here? Did you know about this BS? And Sengoku's like, hey, you know what, fam? I heard rumors, but, the Marine who was reporting on it kind of stopped being a Marine afterwards, so never got any confirmation. So I knew, but I kind of didn't know, if that makes sense. So it's like, instead of painting Garp as a questionable figure, now we're kind of painting Sengoku as the questionable figure, right? And you know what? To be fair, he was kind of already questionable, right? Because in comparisons to Garp, like, we're gonna take Garp and Sengoku, pit them against each other for a hot second, right? Garp stands on his business, has been offered the chance to become an admiral multiple times throughout his career, and every time he's on, nah, I'm good. I do not want to have to answer to those people. I am good. Sengoku, on the other hand, took that opportunity and then took it a step further, becoming Fleet Admiral. And it wasn't until Marineford that Sengoku finally pulled that Buddha afro out of his wide old butthole and said, no, you know what? My boy Garp was onto something. I messed up by getting this involved. I gotta go. But his career has been sus. As a character, Sengoku still seems like a solid dude, right? Because after he retired, it wasn't just like, all right, no, F this stuff, I'm out. I ain't never dealing with it again, right? He said, okay, no, you know what, guys, I want to retire, but tell you what, I'll stick around. I'll help train the new recruits, right? Like, it was probably partially him understanding, okay, you know what, I know too much. They're going to whack me if I, like, full quit. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't really want to do the work anymore, but hey, how about I hang out and, I'll tag along with Garp and we'll help train the new recruits, right? So it was really good to know that Garp is upset about what he's witnessing here on God Valley. And the final little lighthearted thing I want to talk about, and guys, please let me know, like, what came to your mind when you saw this panel, right? Because for me, as soon as I got there, before I even read any of the text bubbles, I'm looking. You got Rocks there in the middle. You got Whitebeard all chatted out. Timothy Chadson as right, like, dude is swole, just standing there got that scowl on his face, like he about to protect his family. You got, Dragon Kaido looming over all of them, kind of got a little goofy smile on his dragon face. But boy, tell me why when I got to I'm scrolling, I get to it, like, immediately in my head, I'm all, the boys are back in town, the boys are back in town. Sorry, horrible singing right there. I apologize. Anybody who was there, put up with that. Take your like back if you feel like you didn't deserve that. I'll be honest with you. But no, like, tell me why. Like, as soon as I saw that panel, that was the first thing that came to my mind, right? Like, I'm all, this looks like a big three. Like, this looks like it could have been the core group of, this could have been Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro easily. Like, when I saw that, man, like that was the vibe I got. Like, that song hit, like, just absolute dropped at the perfect moment. And I was vibing, and then I read it, right? And I'm all, damn, Rox knows he's about to die, and he's still happy as for his little brother Kaido. He's all, boy, you looking good. I'm glad you having fun. Oh. Meanwhile, Whitebeard's over here like, hey, yeah, no, that's cool and all, fam, but what the absolute are we facing? And Rox in him with the, if I had to make a bet, I'd say it's the world. Like, I don't know if that's the official translation. I can't wait to read the chapter on Shonen Jump when it drops on Sunday. But man, so much about this chapter. Like, dude, it was a roller coaster. I was all over the place, right? Like, I'm smiling, I'm beaming, I'm cheesing like a mofo. Like, I'm happy, and then I'm depressed. I'm heartbroken, I'm sad. I'm watching Dragon run away with Baby Shanks, talking about, I ain't gonna let you die, kid. I'm watching Mama Teach running away with Baby Teach, talking about, I ain't gonna let you die, Marshall. Like, man, how did I go from so happy to so depressed? And then bring it back around. You got the, man, you know what? These are probably the capital T, capital H, capital E, the 3 characters I would argue on any tier list. Number 1 on Himothy Chatson of One Piece. Like, all 3 of these men, dude, like, just insane. And I'm not sure if anybody else noticed this. If another creator mentioned this, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you thought about this while you were reading the channel, feel free to let me know. But all 3 of these people are, like, these are men that care about their crew, right? Like, I'm not saying Kaido was a great father. What he did to Yamato was beyond cursed, right? Like, he was trying too hard. And I don't know, it was framed that it was out of love. He wanted Yamato to grow up, to be strong enough to protect herself, right? Like, he knew what the world had in store and understood, I've never let my daughter leave this island. She is not going to be aware of what's going on out there. And he's like that dad that was trying too hard to prepare the kid for the future, that they robbed their kid of their childhood in the process. Even though it comes out of love, you're still taking something beautiful away from the kid, right? So I'm not saying Kaido was a great dad by any means. I am kind of saying that about Newgate and Rox. Like, the only reason that Rox came back, the only reason Zebek is here, is because he told his wife, take our son, you will be safe here. And turned out he was wrong. So he's all, no, I gotta go protect them. But my crew doesn't know anything about them. They would never go for a rescue mission of some girl that I knocked up and a baby. Let's tell them it was for Shaggy. Let's just go with that. They'll buy into that. They'll be guns ready. Let's go in blazing. Like, wow, I messed up everything about that. But I would like to, because this is already kind of getting long, right? Going on 20 minutes. I'm going to try and keep the rest of this to under 10 minutes here. But I got it. Okay, so this is exactly how I got it written down in my notes, right? Because this is what the chapter was to me. As awesome as everything was, right? As roller coastery as my emotions were, like, felt like I was engrossed in one of the greatest novels of all time. Like I'm talking about, I felt like I was coming into the climax of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? Like uh, Arthur's about to find out about everything that was going on and what his life was about. I felt like coming into that moment, right? And yes, to be clear, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is my go-to reference for a great novel. My favorite novel ever. Come at me. Lambast me in the comments. Go for it. I don't care. It's the greatest novel ever written. Anyway, what do I have this part titled? Chapter 1162, The Wano Retcon. Now, I did post about this yesterday on my Tumblr. I'll get a little screenshot of it up here. And, because I understood, I try to do my best because I know not everybody I interact with online is going to want to know about what's going on. Like, as much as I think spoilers are good for the community, I did that video where I trying to help people understand why spoilers are really a benefit for us as a whole. I will never expect somebody to feel the way I do about spoilers. Hey, if you want to go into it completely blind, like I said before, fam, you are doing it the way Oda wants us to. All I'm saying is that the spoilers do nothing to take away from the experience for me. But I did post about it on my Tumblr because I'm like, all right, so in chapter 999, Lin pointed out, on that day when rocks fell into ruin on God Valley, I gave you the fish fruit. You owe me a life debt. Like, okay, to be fair, I just put it out there in the beginning. Nothing about this concretely defines canon, right? It's still vague enough that we can, kind of speculate, have some fun chatting about it with each other, right? Like these little things that are kind of clear but just vague enough that it allows discussion in between chapters, right? Like it's part of what's beautiful about manga. But to be clear, what Big Mom is referencing here, contextually speaking, is that she gave Kaido the Uwa Uwa no Mi Maru Seiryu of her own free will, and frames it as a situation that was potentially life-threatening to Kaido in the fact that she claims he owes her a life debt. Now, it was pointed out to me, somebody did comment on my post on Tumblr, and a big shout out to you, friend. I appreciate you. Because, as I always say, a theory's never complete till the community gets their hands on it, and you did help me to evolve the theory a bit, right? But what they pointed out that Big Mom probably just chose to let him keep it and call in the debt later. Like the life debt was basically the fact that she didn't kill him on the spot for attacking her, basically, right? Like, okay, it can kind of track, right? Like, and I did concede in the post. I'm okay, you know what? I really appreciated that comment because it did shine a new light on something I was struggling with, because Wano was an amazing arc to me. Like, it was one of my personal favorites when, like, I full committed to being invested in this story full time, wholeheartedly. I was kind of at a point where a lot of other manga I really liked were meeting an early demise or being rushed to conclusion. And, I had always kind of liked One Piece, kept up with it. I didn't make sure I read it every week. Sometimes I'd go a few chapters and then get caught up in a hurry. But it was around about chapter 1000, a little bit after 1000, where I really invested in starting to read every week religiously. Like, I was there when the chapter released. I was on it. Shonen Jump hit me up like, hey, cool, it's time to read. And then I started seeing videos being posted on here, right? You had Matt and you had Liam and you had Sai out here talking about the chapter days before it dropped, which got me looking for the scanlation sites that they were using, right? And I came across one that I really liked, and man, anyway, because I like Wano so much, like, Wano was basically the arc where I full committed, like where this became a relationship basically to me, right? Where I was invested emotionally in every facet of what was going on. Now, another big part of that was because King Kaido, he's always been one of these figures in my mind where I was like, okay, I gotta know more. I need to know more. Tell me more. And then we got it, and I'm all, yeah. And like, dude, it was awesome. But anyway, because in chapter 999, Lin Lin framed it as she gave Kaido the devil fruit of her own free will and framed it as a life-saving situation. This chapter retcons that is no longer the case. Like, and I'll put it up here again. I imagine I've already put it up a couple times because I'm talking about it, but I'll throw it up here again. This is in chapter 999. Go check for yourself. It's near the end of the chapter, the last couple pages. Big Mom and Kaido are talking on top of Onigashima as he's getting ready to, take it over and drop it on the Flower Capital. This is canon, basically, is what I'm saying, this conversation. And then less than 200 chapters later, we're already retconning that. Like, and as I mentioned in my post on Tumblr, the thing that's got me the most upset about it is this is an easy way out. Like, dude, we're on God Valley. There is nothing but opportunities around you to put Kaido in a life-threatening situation where Lin Lin would choose to give her friend, her little brother, this devil fruit to save his life. We have nothing but opportunities for that to happen, right? And even, okay, we'll take the argument from Tumblr, right? It was an investment on Big Mom's part. She's like, okay, you know what? Whatever. I'll call in this favor later on in life, and he's gonna owe me a big one. You still get that if you choose to give him the devil fruit and save his life. In fact, it makes what you said in chapter 999 facts. Like, it makes it a life debt. By choosing to give Kaido the devil fruit, like we were told, not told, I'm sorry, I'm getting hype here, not told, like it was framed in context. You get that life debt. But what we got instead was Kaido outright full attacking Big Mom. We're talking about full leaping in the air, body curled, like dude got his entire core into that baseball home run swing to Big Mom's jaw, just and then dude noms it out of me. I love that bit, just real quick. Kaido, fucking the king himself, man, just being an absolute goof. Because, you got to remember, back then, he wanted to be Joy Boy. So these kind of actions make sense, right? But because Kaido attacked Lin Lin and took the fruit by force, and immediately we have Lin Lin responding with, Kaido, how dare you? Something like that, right? Like, she was very clearly and loudly perturbed and irritated by what this guy just did to her. Somebody she thought of as a little brother, right? So, like, she was upset. And we know that this devil fruit was intended for her second in command, Katakuri, right? Like, this devil fruit was supposed to be a powerhouse to defend her family. It doesn't make sense for her not to attack Kaido in this moment. Like, he already attacked you. War has been declared. And now he's got a devil fruit he has no idea how to use. You've had your devil fruit for a while. You understand it. And he's younger than you. This is the ideal time to counterattack, get vengeance, and get that devil fruit you wanted for your kid back, right? Because, I believe I framed it in my comment in response on Tumblr, right? This would be like if somebody attacked the Straw Hats, right? And stole Enma, and then came back, like, asked Luffy for help. What would the price that Luffy could accept that would equate to Enma being stolen from Zoro? Like, yeah, Zoro's got other, real bad swords, right? Like, okay, Katakuri's got a real bad backup devil fruit. Like, it worked out, but the fact still remains. Basically, Enma was stolen from your second in command. What price could possibly make up for that? Like, I don't know. Like, please, and that's right, because the biggest reason I have a problem with this retcon, I mean, aside from the fact there are plenty of opportunities to frame it in this flashback as you've already contextualized it in chapter 999, under these circumstances, I'm sorry about the pause. I'm trying to make sure I'm not speaking out of anger here, right? Because yes, I am questioning decisions Oda has made in his writing, right? But I do, as I mentioned before, I try to remind myself every time I do this that I'm not a professional mangaka. I'm not a professional writer. I've never been published. What room do I really have to critique a professional like Oda? But with this retcon, it no longer makes sense for Linlin to help Kaido on Wano. She doesn't get anything out of helping save him during the raid on Onigashima that makes up for this man stealing something from her second in command. Something that powerful. So please, I'll ask like I did on my Tumblr, please help me see this in a way that doesn't ruin my favorite arc of this story. I really need your guys' help on this one, because like Big Mom wasn't a big part of why I liked Wano, but she was present. She had an impact on the story that was told during that period in time, right? So the fact that it no longer makes sense for her to be involved is meaningful to me. So if you guys do have something, any kind of insight or idea or theory of your own, please do hit me up in the comments or reach out on my socials, X and Tumblr at Barlow Be Theorizing, or even the Discord community, the Barlow Zone. By the way, just because I've noticed it on some other channels, I do not have a Patreon. I am not going to ask you guys to donate money to me. If this is going to end up being something that makes money, it's going to be off whatever I do manage to get out of the YouTube partner program. So my Discord community, it has absolutely zero association with any Patreon at all. That is not why I'm asking you guys to join. I'm literally just asking you guys to join in case y'all want to talk about something, or y'all want to talk about Fallout or Elder Scrolls or Kaijuverse or DC or Marvel or Dota or World of Warcraft. Like I said before, I even got a whole channel on the Discord for other ideas. Is there something you're a fan of that I don't have listed there that's big enough that we can make a channel? Hit me up. Anyway, as always, friends, let me know what you guys think of this one. Help me through this existential crisis, basically, right? And as always, I hope y'all have an amazing day, friends. Much love.